Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine, and today I have a reorganization project to share with you. We are tackling these unit study bins today. We're going to pull them all out and reorganize them. Some of them are okay, but some of them are just not functional, and I really need to reorganize these ever since I reorganized our bookcase. And so now this entire bookcase holds all of our history units, and so I need a place now for our science units. And so currently some of them are in here, and currently some of them are in this bookcase, not the projects, just the books. And then I have our nature unit that's on the table here. I've pulled out all of these books that used to be inside that bookcase over there. And so we need to work on this because our science units actually have a lot of hands-on projects, and those bins are kind of small. So we're going to have our work cut out for us today. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull out all of these units and put them on the floor so I can work on them. Okay, so that cabinet is emptied, and here are all of our unit study bins. I do have a couple other unit study bins in this cabinet over here, and it is an anatomy unit that I have right here, and I think I have the rest of the astronomy unit back there, and also the rest of our mineralogy and geology unit right there. Alright, so I pulled out these remaining units from this cabinet here. So the first thing that I'm going to do, which I notice, is that there are some books in this unit here, which is a super tiny unit that's basically European history for the Renaissance, so post-Middle Ages. But the thing is that I don't have quite enough stuff in here for it to be a proper unit, so I am going to take those materials and put those books in there. That way I have freed up another bin. I also have some more materials here that's on geography and on amazing women throughout history, and I'm not quite sure what I want to do with this because there's two very different topics. I have a ton of biographies right over here. Most of them here are on female role models. Alright, so I separated all of the things in that bin into the different categories, and I had quite a bit for geography, and then I remember that I had some other materials for geography, some other maps and things. So I'm going to put that together. I'm going to go ahead and put all of our geography materials back in here, but at least this is done now, and that will be our geography unit. And I forgot that there's also this material here, or this little template here. It's for the United States, and you can make like a little relief map, which reminds me that since I have some space in here, I might go ahead and take our plaster of Paris and add that to this bin as well. And then these things go with our Middle Ages castle building kit, which is over there. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer that over there. I have a couple of things for famous women, and I'm just going to go ahead and add the rest of these materials. I'm going to go ahead and put that with our ancient Egypt, which is right here. I'm pretty sure I've got some space. It's right in, and we can keep going. All right, so before I put the front row back over here, I just remembered that I have a lot more books that would fit this category. So I'm going to remove all of these because I just remembered that last year at the library bookstore, I picked up a lot of the American Girl series. I think these will be perfect for putting behind the unit on American women and female role models. That way they're all just in one space. And now I'm going to put this row up in front. Alright, so I got those books back in place, and really honestly going through the bookcase was unexpected and took far longer than I wanted it to take. So the next thing I'm going to do is to come over here where I have a lot of our nature books that came out of our bookcase. What I'm going to do at this point is separate these into different smaller subject areas. Now, my son went ahead and separated all of the books into these different piles for these different smaller subject areas. I'm going to go through them one more time and then start to figure out how many unit bins I'm going to need for our unit studies. Alright, so we've made some progress with these different piles. I have a few books on ants, I have a number of resources on bees, and then at the very bottom I have cicadas, and then we have butterflies and caterpillars. So it's going to be Butterflies and Caterpillars, all of the bee books, and then the ant books. All right, let's move on to our books on spiders. We have 3 books on spiders, and then I thought I would go ahead and put it with the scorpions. We have a number of books on birds, so I think that's enough to make its own unit. Then this one actually goes somewhere else. We have books on the Arctic and the Antarctic, so I put all of those together. It just seemed like a good idea rather than splitting these up into, like, say, a unit on bears or a unit on our ocean unit, for instance, and putting the penguins with our ocean unit. I decided to put all these cold weather animal books together. I have only 1 book on reptiles, so I'm either going to leave this by itself or I'll stick this with our unit on dinosaurs. We have 2 books on bats, and so that's probably going to get put with another unit. I have this book called Footprints in the Swamp. I have a book on animal camouflage, and I had one of these backyard books on swamps as well. So maybe the 3 of those can go together and combine with another unit. I also have a number of books on, like, it would be good for a nature study, like suppose we live near Bryce Canyon or on the prairie or mountains, mountainous area. But it looks like I have a number of books that would work with like a mountain-ish unit, which for me, I envision forests as part of that kind of landscape. So I have a walk in the boreal forest and a walk in the deciduous forest. And I think that adding some of the, I have a few books on different national parks. So I'm thinking of putting those books together. The prairie doesn't really fit and Bryce Canyon doesn't really fit, but because we have other national parks in there, I'm thinking of doing that and adding this book about the woods, One Small Square of Woods, and this book about trees as part of that unit. And then I thought I had more books on the plant cycle or plants in general, and I'm thinking that they are kind of spread around the schoolroom, but that's that unit, and it could just be a very large botany unit that also includes trees. That's very possible. And then I only have 2 books on weather. What I think I'm going to start with is this unit right here, because this one is pretty tidy, not too big, and I know that I can add all of the books that we have on the ocean and shells and those kinds of things. Okay, so this is what's in this unit so far. We have a number of shells. These are all from Nature Watch. We purchased these recently, the last time we did this unit. I also have some sand dollars that I collected when I was a child, and we have some oyster shells in here, and then we have some of the material that we would be using for our ocean unit. Okay, so this is what fit into this unit, and good, it still has the label on it. It's quite heavy, but it fits all the books, so I'm going to leave it the way it is. I did get rid of a couple of things here, and that's going to get passed on to another homeschooling family, and we can go on to the next bin. Okay, so I went ahead and I grabbed all of our dinosaur resources, and I'm going to add this book on reptiles to this unit, as well as this book on the story of life, evolution. So I'm going to put that in there. I actually have a book on Charles Darwin. It's a novel. I'm going to grab that and put it in there. And then the last thing I'm going to do is, I know that I have something in our mineralogy unit, geology and mineralogy unit. Let me take you over here, because I think that this would work better with our dinosaur unit. And this is amber from, I don't remember how many millions of years ago, but this will definitely go better with this new unit. Alright, so here's that book. It's called The True Adventures of Charlie Darwin, and it's about Charles Darwin when he was younger. I think I'm going to add this unit in there as well, because this unit still has quite a bit of space. And there's still space in this unit, but I think we're going to call it a day. this unit really feels a little more complete with a kit, with a couple of books, and this one's kind of like an activity book, and then we have a picture book. So I'm feeling really good about this unit. I'm going to put it aside and we'll have to make some new labels for it. So this unit has a lot of the handwork and projects for our Native American Indian unit. It really didn't need any sorting through, so I'm going to go ahead and put that at the top. We also have our geography unit with a couple extras in there. Now this one is done and I can go ahead and put that one up as well. Okay, and then we have our ropes and knots unit, and that didn't change at all. So I can go ahead and put that up here. And so those units didn't change too much, but it's done. We got 2 units in here and a whole lot more to go. So we're gonna do easiest first, and I'm gonna grab this unit over here. I see some bird things in here and other nature units. And I'm also gonna grab this unit right here, and I'm gonna start going through these. I'm also gonna go ahead and grab the units that we were working on, because I don't want to not have enough space for these because they've been out. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these things and add it to our supplies. I'm going to go ahead and empty out all of the things that are in here so I can sort through them. Part of reorganizing also means that we're purging materials that we don't need anymore. So I am going to ask my children if they want this, and if they don't, then it's right to find another family who can use it. So this is the remainder of our unit that we recently did on butterflies, and we had these little plastic replicas of the life cycle of a butterfly and of a ladybug and of a praying mantis. So I'm going to go ahead and put those away. Okay, these are all bagged up. My daughter also wants to store these with the butterfly unit, and this goes with our botany unit. And if I have room, I'm going to go ahead and put that in with our botany unit. I keep my current unit right here, and I had a number of books that I wanted to sort through to add to our different units. And so I have nature anatomy, which can go with either the plants or the trees unit. I've got poetry, I'm going to put that with the tree unit. Plants will go with the botany unit. And I've got another one on plants here. And then a couple of books on the rainforest. So I'll put that with the trees unit. And then how do apples grow? It's going to go over here with our plants unit, our botany unit. And then tree lady, I'm going to go ahead and put this back in the bookcase that I have like all of our female role models. So I also have this tree and leaf guide that's going to go with the tree unit, and so is that. And then I've got a couple of resources on insects. So I think we are going to, in Curious Nature, so this could go with a variety of units. I'm just going to choose the one that has, you know, fewer. Well, actually that could go with a number of units. I'm just going to choose the unit that has space, since that's for like multiple units. Okay, so into the forest, that is going to go with the forest and tree unit. These ones have not been successful in our homeschool, but I'm going to go ahead and put it with the coordinating units that it's supposed to be with. All right, so we are going to make a unit on insects, and I'm going to go ahead and put all of the books in here that belong in here, and we'll see how much room we have, because we also have some books that cover multiple subject areas, and if we have room in this kit, or this bin rather, then I'll go ahead and add some of those books in there. But in the meantime, we're going to put everything in for bees, butterflies, caterpillars, and ants, and cicadas. I believe those are all the different insects that we have, as well as some of our hands-on projects. We have this little reference book, as well as the Professor Noggins game. My daughter does want to keep these, so we're going to put that back into this unit study bin, as well as the Arabella Buckley book on insects, which hasn't worked out so great for us, that whole series, but we're going to hold on to it. I'll put this little portabug thing in here, as well as our stencils for our butterflies. And I think that probably rounds out the unit pretty well. I went ahead and I grabbed the rainforest kit that we have so that we can put it with our trees unit. And I also grabbed the honeycomb candle rolling kit, which we love. And I'm going to add that to our insect unit since it has to do with bees and beeswax. So there's only a couple pieces left in here to do. The rest of these we can actually start to use. So I'm really liking the size of this unit. I feel like it has enough books and games and then some hands-on projects. I went ahead and I added this book called The Best Book of Nature Stories. I haven't read it, but I got it from a friend and it just fit in here really well. And so I think this one is good to go, and I'm just going to add it into our cabinet just to get it out of the way. So before I continue over here, I'm going to need to make some more room in the unit study bins that we have here because I only have one that's free. What I'm thinking of doing is taking our math unit, since there are a lot of books in there, and moving it over here to this cubby right here. All right, so I've got some books in here. They're like these specialty books. And I'm thinking of pulling them out, possibly, and putting them with our nature units. All right, so I don't really have a place for safari animals, but I would love to make a unit on safari animals. Look how gorgeous this book is. We also have it in rainforest animals, and I'm thinking of adding this to our rainforest books, or, you know, our tree unit, because we recently did a unit and we did a little mini portion on the rainforest, and I forgot that I had this book. So I think it's going to be better served within that unit rather than in the bookcase along with all those other specialty books right over there. But I think that putting it with its subject area rather than its type is going to mean that we're going to get more use out of it. And now I'm going to go ahead and add in this stack of math books all the way up here because now I've got this space for them. So that's what the math books look like. All right, so before I start to empty out any of these other ones, you know, in search of another bin, I'm going to go ahead and put this one back into the cabinet because this one does not need to be sorted at all. I'm going to go ahead and take this bin right here and start to fill it up with the botany unit in this one. And now I can go ahead and add all of these books here to our botany unit. And since I have a lot of space, I am thinking of adding in some of the other resources on keeping a nature journal because I felt like this would work well with this botany unit. Okay, I'm just gonna add these books in here and see how many fit in here comfortably before I add in some of the other things. I'm going to trade out the nature anatomy for the Curious Nature Guide. I also just realized that there were a couple other things here. Pond Life, I'm really not sure where this should go. This was a book on trees, so I got to put that with the tree unit. And this is Local Birds of Orange County, so I'll put that with the bird unit, which is here. I also have this game on animal families. I'm just going to leave that with the bird unit since there's space. And then I have a couple other things here. This one we'll put with the bird unit. Tropical forests, that will go with the tree unit. And then the Burgess Animal Book for Children. Again, I'm going to stick that with the bird unit because that's a smaller unit and I feel like I've got more space for that. This is going to have to go with one of our other animal units because I'm not sure which one yet. And I'm going to add these over here to our tree unit. All right, so that fits really well. We're going to call this one done and put it into our cabinet. All right, I've emptied out another bin. I know I've got a pretty well-established bird unit, so I'm going to start with that and put those in here. All right, so in this unit with the birds, I went ahead and I put in our mammals and then a couple other books on mammals, bears, and other things. I'm going to leave this kit the way it is. It has some balsa wood, our metal stamping, and our wood tools. So I'm going to leave this the way it is because it fits well. I emptied this language arts bin into here. It fits really well now. That frees up this bin right here, and I think that I can probably fit this book in there too. Yes, perfect. And in here we have the Arctic and the Antarctic. I'm gonna take these ones out and put them in here instead. So this will now be 2 units, and this will actually be multiple units, not just bird units, but other things as well. Yeah, okay, that works. That's done. I have this book on muscles and bones for our anatomy unit. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick that with this unit, which is our anatomy unit. I'm not gonna go through that anymore, nor am I gonna go through this one, nor am I gonna go through this one, which has our geology and mineralogy units. I'm gonna trade out all of the materials in this bin for this bin. I'm thinking that there's maybe a little bit more room. Okay, and there is. So now I can just stick that into the cabinet. I'm gonna take all of these magnifying glasses and binoculars, and I'm actually gonna put it into this little bin right here. I think that's gonna fit these things perfectly. All right, so this is the rest of our astronomy kit. The only other thing I wanna put in here, the telescope, and I'm gonna stick that in the back in there, put this one away, and we are done. Okay, so this cabinet is done. The last thing I need to do is add some labels. And I'm about to put the rest of these things back in here, and we're gonna call it a day. Oh my goodness, that took far longer than I expected. All the bins are finally organized. If you want to see some of the unit studies, I have left a couple of playlists here on the screen for you to enjoy. You can tap at any time. And if you want to see what we're up to on a daily basis, don't forget that you can find me on Instagram at Pepper and Pine.